Now, here's a little story I got to tell.
This is Giants Amongst Us. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is Sunday, the last day for a fun day. That's what some would say. So I hope this finds you in good spirits. We've got another one for you. Today, Nate joins us, and he's got a story to tell. Nate, at an early age, was diagnosed with muscular dystrophy. And because of his condition, he found himself prescribed and eventually dependent and addicted to those painkillers for 13 years. 13 years. Till finally, he decided out of his own accord to cut out that poison himself cold turkey, which might not always be a good idea, but for him, it worked. And once that happened, he found that his quality of life improved, that his creativity opened back up. Because Nate's a musician, he grew up around music. His father was a guitarist, and he wears a lot of hats when it comes to creating and making music. Nate also had a bout with lung cancer and survived that. He's been tried and tested, but he's still keeping on with the keeping on. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, this is Nate and his story. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. We've got another story. We have another guest, and today we're joined by Nate. Nate, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. You could have been anywhere. You could have been doing anything, but you're here with us to share a little bit about your story and about yourself. So appreciate you and your time. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
For starters, if you don't mind sharing with us a little bit about where you're from and how it was for you growing up.
I'm from Wisconsin. I've kind of been raised around the area, bounced around a little bit when I was a kid, Minnesota, Wisconsin, but always from this part of the Midwest. Was raised in a music-loving family. My dad was a guitar player, and my mom sang around the house all the time. So I just grew up loving music, and turned out I was a guitar player. But then, like, around the age of 8, I kind of started slowing down. I have muscular dystrophy, so things kind of got a bit rough. They still are, but I manage.
Is that something that developed or you were born with?
When I was younger, I was able to run and do a lot of stuff, but around the age like 8 or 9, I started slowing down quite a bit. My mom noticed me changing the way I walk and then not running as much, and I would complain about my legs hurting. So yeah, and then it's just kind of been downhill from that age. But I'm still up and walking around. I have to use a cane these days.
Mm-hmm. Is it mainly your lower body?
It's all my muscles.
Oh, wow.
Every muscle. So like trying to raise my arms above my head, or just like brushing my teeth, like simple stuff.
Yeah. Growing up and as it progressed, how did it affect you? I'm sure in a lot of different ways.
Yeah. Like through school, the other kids would make fun of me, and then like they put me on prednisone when I was younger, so I kind of ballooned up, got kind of chunky. So making fun of me for that and the way I walked, and I mean, but that, like, whatever. Like kids are kids. They're mean.
Right.
You get over that after high school, but other than that, like, I just did the best I could. I was still able to do quite a bit. Up until like my early 20s, I was still skiing and riding motorcycles, that kind of thing. And then just it got worse after that. I was playing in bands too up until 2012 or 2013. And then that got to be too much, like playing live. You go out, you play 3-hour show, like 3 sets that are each an hour, and then you have to set up and tear down. And by the end of the night, I was so exhausted, and it got to the point where I couldn't bend over to set up the guitar pedals anymore and then get back up. So at that point, I was just done. with the live stuff anyway.
Yeah. There's really nothing you can do to, besides, I don't know if it's pain medication or whatever it is that you're taking, like anything else that you can do to help with the pain.
I did pain medication for 13 years or so, and it was a horrible experience. It made everything worse. Like I think it eventually amplified the pain. I became way more sensitive to it. And then you build this huge tolerance
Right.
to the pills. And the doctors, like, when they first started, they're like, "Oh, here's some OxyContin. Here's 80 milligrams. Just take that. Oh, you're falling asleep. Well, here's some Ritalin. Like, oh
Wow.
yeah." And so I had this nice cocktail of the Valium, the Ritalin, and the OxyContins, the Vicodins, and that really messes with you after a while. And I don't know, I was really unhappy. I struggled with a lot of depression through those years.
That seems to be, I'm not going to speak for everyone, but it seems like a lot of people have had that experience, say with an accident or whatever it is, that the doctors right away, they're quick to just put you on the meds and push that on you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they definitely used to be. I think they're kind of coming around now to where they're not throwing as much painkillers at it, and they do suggest a little more like homeopathic type stuff or like physical therapy, um, which I do that, and I do acupuncture. Like there's a lot of stuff I do now to combat it and stay off of all those. The only thing I do use is cannabis, which is a godsend.
Okay. Uh-huh. What are the laws in Wisconsin? Is it like recreational or medicinal, or it's still verboten?
No. Yeah, I'm I'm surrounded by legal states. Michigan, it's legal. Minnesota just legalized it. Illinois, it's legal. And it's ridiculous that it's still illegal here. We don't even have medicinal here
That's
in
crazy how
Wisconsin.
you can you
So,
cross a line and then all of a sudden it's okay.
yeah, yeah,
How about
yeah.
when you were
Don't tell
when
anyone.
you were 13 years on pain meds, did you find yourself during that time addicted to it? I know you said you built the tolerance, but I mean that's a long run.
Oh yeah, yep. You can't go. I think even a short term, people have trouble getting addicted to them, and there's the physical and the mental addiction part of it, right? So like, if you go off of them, then you start to feel sick because you're going through the withdrawals, and then I mean, yeah, it's a tough, slippery slope. So, but yeah, I was definitely addicted to them.
How did you manage or eventually find your way off of them, or at least not using them as much?
Um, I actually ended up going cold turkey off of them. Just I was running out early every month because I would take more than I was supposed to, because that's the only way you get any relief. And then you run out a week early, and the doctors are like,
Because of that
"Yeah,
tolerance, right?
yeah, yep." And then
Hmm.
they don't want to give you pills early. So I finally I had had enough and just gave it up. I was like, I'll do something else. And the longer I was off of them, I started feeling better and better, more energy, and wanted to do more things. I wasn't depressed or as depressed. So, and then that got better, and actually pretty happy most of the time now. So,
You didn't experience any withdrawals or like,
oh yeah, I did a lot of, actually, about 8 months of, I mean, there's
damn,
like you
eight.
go through the first couple of weeks, and like that's the rough part. But then I still had a lot of sleepless nights and sweating. And I think the half life of those drugs, like they stay in your body for quite a while even. So I
Yeah,
had some
yeah.
like the depression and sleep issues, sweating, and like hot and cold type of, like I'd be hot and sweating and then cold, and it was no fun.
It's pretty much like you have to be willing to go through that hell, right? Because I mean, you hear a lot of people, I don't know, maybe you've come across people also that they have an addiction. It can be for an opiate or whatever, and they're in a place where they feel like it is impossible. Their body craves it so much that it's impossible to get off of it. But you went cold turkey. I know everybody's case is different, but it's really, what do you think? Like, how do you feel about that? Do you think it's just that it's up to the individual if they're willing to go through that hell in order to find some relief or release from the beast?
Yeah, I probably did it the wrong way. I probably should have had help from the doctors and weaned down, but I was so done with like Western medicine. Like I wanted nothing to do
That's
with
right.
any doctors at that point. I'm just wanted them to leave me alone and take care of it myself. And so my wife, started feeding me supplements and vitamins and, getting me outside more. And
It's like you became your own healthcare provider, right?
yes, absolutely. And then it's funny you say that because in 2016, I was diagnosed with lung cancer, and the doctors were asking me like about what I was on, and I was like, oh well, I'm on cannabis oil, and they're like, oh, well, who prescribed that? And I raised my hand. I'm like, yeah, we did. I did.
Yeah.
meet my wife, Dr. Angie. So
Did you and your wife, both of you, just start doing like a lot of research on your own to try to figure out how you put it, you were just done with Western medicine and looking for any kind of alternative?
mm-hmm. Yep. And we'd been, kind of working on a lot of that stuff throughout the years. We kind of designed our life to suit us and my disability. We started a business in 2007, designing websites, and then she was doing virtual administration at the time, and then which that's now turned into like digital marketing, and it's just a whole big thing now that we support our life with. So we did that, and then the whole like acupuncture and the supplements and vitamins and exercise, like that all just it fits and works well for us.
Right. If I could go back a little bit, just so when you were, when you were taking the painkillers the way you were during that 13 years, how was, yeah, I know it affects the body in a lot of different ways, mentally, physically, all of the side effects included. But were you still able to, on the medication and taking the painkillers, were you still able to function the way you are today, or were you able to function, in a good capacity, whether it was playing music or living your life?
I think I functioned the best I could at the time. Yeah, I mean, I was still making music and doing the band thing and writing music at home, but I don't know. I mean, I functioned, but I don't know how well. Maybe not as clear as now, or without purpose. Maybe like I didn't have the same purpose as I do now.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a good question.
And you've always been a musician? Like that's been your gig from the rooter to the tutor?
Kinda, yeah. I wasn't a musician until my teens when I got a guitar, but from my earliest memories are about music pretty much. Like running home after school and putting on a Beatles 45. When I would get home, I would listen to I'm Down, and then on the flip side, I think was Ticket to Ride, and I would just listen to that and all my other 45s that I had.
Some vinyl.
Yes. Yep.
You have any record stores in your area that you can frequent and
There were. I used to go to Minneapolis quite a bit and dig through the records, but now online is my music
Oh
store.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I still buy vinyl occasionally. I actually have a big shelf behind me filled with vinyl. So
It's really a different sound. It has that warm sizzle when the needle hits, a beautiful thing. I have a record player. It's all broken. I need to get a new needle for it. And but once I do,
yeah.
yeah, it'd be nice to listen to some records again.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of an experience. I like to put the record on, and I mean, you got the artwork, and you flip it over on the back, you can see all the people that worked on the album and the song titles and the artwork. That stuff's so cool.
Right. Yeah. I really like the fact that, I mean, not that you had to go through what you went through, but that you were willing to try. I guess maybe it was just out of desperation also. Sometimes desperate times call for desperate measures, to where you're looking for something other than pain kills or
Mm-hmm.
medication, because it's really not doing anything. But like you said, I guess it was almost escalating the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And you found, now you also said acupuncture. You doing, how has that been for you?
Acupuncture, I love it. I do it every week. It helps. I don't know if this is my opinion, but I feel like when I do acupuncture regularly, I don't get colds or flu.
So the immune system, everything.
Yes, yep. The immune system. It helps my energy, my mood. My mood's changed quite a bit since
Wow.
I started acupuncture in, I think, 2015. So it was a couple of years after the got off the painkillers.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, my mood has improved drastically. And
You have somewhere local that you can have that
yep,
done?
she's like 10 miles from my house. So, but what I was going to say is, like, the two times that I've kind of slipped off the acupuncture wagon, so to speak,
Right.
I got COVID. So,
Hmm.
I'm not saying that it cures COVID or it keeps you from getting sick, but it's like I wasn't doing my acupuncture regularly, and then I got COVID. But I did also go to a Flaming Lips concert one time, so that was probably why.
I mean, you got to enjoy yourself at the same
Right? I
time,
mean,
right? It's
the lead singer of
yeah.
the Flaming
Now,
Lips was in a bubble the whole concert. Now I know why.
was he
Yeah, well, not the whole show, but he comes out
a
and
literal bubble?
yeah, it's a bubble filled with air, and it's like this plastic bubble, and he sings inside of it, and and then they
Oh, wow.
used to walk out on the crowd with it, which was
Bubble boy.
you have to check it out. They actually did a whole concert with the entire audience was in bubbles too. Yeah.
Wow. I was just watching. I don't know if he was in a bubble, but it has nothing to do with the music. But just because you mentioned a bubble and being in something that's encapsulated, but it was like a documentary about David Blaine when he was,
Oh, sure.
I don't know if he put himself in ice or he was, whatever it was, but he was encapsulated. And so that, I don't know why that came to mind, but that's crazy. But now,
Yeah, those guys are
yeah,
cool.
I'm gonna have to check it out. I'm curious as to how that looks in real time.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Wayne Coyne running around out on top of the audience
How
in a
often did
bubble.
you say with the acupuncture you do? You said once every.
I go every Thursday
Okay,
or Friday, so every week.
I'm curious as to how that works out. Are they hitting mainly the pressure points, or are they like putting it all over your body?
It's Yeah, so it's all over my body. She'll start on my head and go down my back, get some of my hands and my arms and my legs. But she's hitting the Chinese meridians or energy points,
Okay.
and it's all about the flow of your energy and your chi. Probably massacring the explanation of it, but
No, no, no. I hear what you're saying. That's very important. I guess what it does is, I mean, I'm not an expert on it, but I read a little bit about it, and that's why I was kind of curious as to how that works. But I guess it's supposed to release, like how you said, the chi. It releases the energy,
yeah,
certain points that
yeah.
it's kind of clearing the junk and the toxicity.
hmm It's Yeah, it's super relaxing. She'll put the needles in, and she'll walk out of the room, and I'm out within 5 minutes usually.
Wow.
Sometimes I'm even asleep before she leaves the room. It's that, like, zen for
How
me.
long? How long are the sessions?
An hour from the time I go in and she starts putting needles in to the time that I walk out.
Man, I might have to experience that once in my
Oh
life.
yeah, you should try it. You should try it for sure.
Especially if you said it, I mean, just in general, like just from detoxing your body? Because I mean, we're surrounded by chemicals all day long. We don't even have to be
Oh
a
yeah.
smoker or a drinker. You step outside, if you're in the city, you get into pollution. We're bombarded by it, and especially in the foods and depending on your diet. Has that also been something that you added to the mix, like you said, supplements and vitamins to help you with your pains?
Yeah, diet. I do notice like if I eat a lot of sugar or more carbs, I'm definitely more inflamed. I'm horrible about staying away from them though,
Yeah, yeah.
because I like food. I love
Uh huh.
food. So
But I mean, if you can do other
yeah.
things like what it seems you're doing to combat it, I guess it's easier said than done. My wife and I, we always talk about it. Also, it's like the moderation, right? I mean, you can indulge in the things,
Hmm.
but sometimes it's just the moderation. Know when to tell yourself you've had enough. But when it tastes so good,
Hmm. Sure. I think when it comes to self care, I don't know that you can really have enough. Like, you should
yeah.
do as much as you can, and I think that helps. I want to mention another really fun thing that I've done is a float tank, and it's like a not a deprivation sensory deprivation chamber, but kind of, because you lay down in water that's body temperature, and it's like really really salty water, so you're very very buoyant, and you float super easy, and then you close the door of the tank and it's mostly dark and your ears are underwater. So it is a little bit of sensory deprivation, but like the salt, I think, removes toxins from your body, and it's super relaxing.
That's cool. That's cool that you mentioned that because I've actually done that with my wife. First, I was looking into something to do for because she has a lot of issues like with her spine, with her neck. She's had multiple surgeries. So that was one thing that I looked up to, like, just a bit of health and wellness and some self care. And so I got her a gift card so she can do it and just enjoy it on her own. And then the next time around, I guess she liked it so much, she's like, we got to do it together. So then they actually had like a room where they have some nice music that they play. And like you said, you're just floating. And I guess I want to, if I remember correctly, I think even your ears are submerged in the water too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and it was about a 45-minute session or maybe even an
Yeah.
hour.
That's so cool.
And it was a
Yeah. I
beautiful
think
thing.
the ones I did, I think were an hour too. Like I loved it. It was very cool. Put on some Pink Floyd and float, or Brian Eno.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so was it were you able to play your own music or you just brought your own
Yeah, I think so.
speaker?
I think that a Bluetooth setup in there, because I remember very distinctly listening to Brian Eno music for airports.
Oh, wow, okay. You didn't put a request in, it was just something that they had on?
It was either they had that on or I played it through my phone. I want to say I played it through like my phone or something.
Now, how about like a isolation tank? You ever plan on doing something like that?
Probably not. I mean, that's like as close as I would want to get is that. It's funny. We were just talking about a studio in Minneapolis that it's an acoustic chamber, and I want to say it's like the quietest place in the world, and like people can only stand to be in there for 45 minutes because you're hearing your heartbeat and your breath, and like you can eventually hear your nervous system or something crazy, and people are
Oh,
like,
yeah.
"Let me out, let me out."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's got to be something that could really put you on a trip too if you're if you're not
Yeah.
careful.
Yep, for sure. Like I always hear my ears ringing, but I couldn't imagine how loud they'd be ringing inside a perfectly quiet room.
Yeah, yeah. That was something I was curious as to do, but like the floating in the water, that was a real cool thing. You've done that one time, or do you
I've
also?
done that multiple times.
Okay.
We finally got a hot tub a couple of years ago, and that was the best investment we've ever made.
Wow. How about like a spa, a little?
Oh, like a sauna?
Yeah, there you go, a
Sauna?
sauna. Hmm.
Yep. Yeah. Actually, the same place that has the float tanks. We go there occasionally and do a sauna together, my wife and I.
That's good quality time.
Yeah, for sure. Anytime you're naked
And
together is quality time.
That's the yeah. So over there, I don't know how it is. I guess most saunas are like that, right? Because I know in Germany, it's kind of a more open thing for people to for the nudity. So the sauna,
Sure.
yeah,
These were actually the saunas were like a 2-person, it's like a room and then there's a sauna inside there. So it was totally private. Like we
oh,
just
okay.
lock the door, go in, and they had a little TV. We watched Netflix and just hang out or listen to music for an hour and then sweat a bunch and get out.
Oh, okay. There's a sauna facility, I guess you could call, or a sauna house not too far from where we live at. And a couple
Hmm.
of times my wife and I went, and it's like a bit you walk in, there's a huge pool you can dip in. Then there's like a different rooms with different like a variation in the heat. So some are hotter than others. And then there's also like a little cold dipping pool where the water is ice cold. You can get in there, showers, there's like
Oh,
lounge
cool.
chairs. So it's
Yeah.
pretty much like a whole in-house thing with multiple rooms and but everybody's walking around in the nude. It's like I
Okay.
don't know if it's like that. Yeah, I know there's
Cool.
sauna houses in the States, but I don't know. Maybe there's some that are nudity and there's other ones where you have to cover up until you get in the room. And then you can kind of, if you want to let them hang, you can let them hang. But yeah, that was something different the first time. I was like, well, I guess, when in Rome.
You right? Yeah. We've been to some hot springs where it was nudity allowed after dark. There's one out in Colorado, but we ended up leaving. We wanted to stay, but like the bus was coming and we had to go. So,
Yeah.
but yeah.
How'd you like it?
Oh, I love hot springs. They're great. We went to Glenwood Hot Springs quite a bit over the last like 10 years or so, and that's out in Colorado, up in the mountains.
Yeah, I've got to do that.
There's a couple other ones up there that we like. Yeah, definitely. If you have some out there in Germany, go
Yeah.
for it.
Or even because I'm originally from California, and my mom, she was
Hmm.
even telling me, I think in Mexico, there's a couple not too far from where she was born at over there. But I'm sure even in, where there's a lot of different areas in the States, and we just had came back from holidays. So we were just visiting family. And we got back May 10th, May 11th. So we just got back, actually. We had a nice little 2 weeks out there. So it was good to see family.
Nice.
So,
That's awesome.
that's also something that I like to do. So you're bringing up some real good points or some things I have to involve myself. I think anybody listening, that like you said, self care, you can never go wrong with that.
For sure. Yep.
And how long has it been? I don't know. I don't know if I asked you that or if you mentioned it. I might have missed it. So forgive me. But how long have you been off of? You said it was 13 years that you were on the meds and the painkillers. How long has it been since you kind of weaned off of it and been doing
That was
your
about
own
10 years ago. It was, I think, 2013 that I got off the pain meds completely.
and feeling? You said a whole lot better since.
Yeah. Yes. Yep. I mean, it's still been like I would say mentally I'm feeling a lot better, but
Right.
in that 10 years I've actually gone downhill with my strength.
Yeah.
Like I used to be able to get up off the floor if I fell down. Now I can't do it by myself.
Wow.
So I have to have someone help me get my butt up onto a stool, and then I can kind of shoot myself up and crawl up like a step
Yeah.
ladder type of deal.
So pretty much anything that's going to be physical that you're having issues with, like say getting out of bed or
Or yeah, getting out of a chair. Yep. No, I like we don't go out to eat so much anymore. If we do, we have to sit at the bar or a high top table because it's really hard for me to lean on the table and then get up. Like I can't just get up off out of the chair.
yeah.
So like sitting at my desk now, I have a step ladder that sits next to my desk all the time. So I can just lean over and crawl up that. Or I have on my couch, I have it's called a couch cane, and it just kind of sits under the couch. And then there's a part that sticks up that I can lean on and help myself get up easier.
In your arms, there's really no strength, like say to push up,
I can do a little bit. Like I have some strength, but
push your body up.
yeah, it's getting worse and worse. if I exercised more, I would be a lot better off. But I struggle with that because I don't have energy to exercise, and then it hurts to exercise.
Yeah.
So it's this like, if I do too much, it'll put me down for a day or two, and then like I'm trying to write and record music and be with my family and like do these, just live my life, and it's hard when you're tapped out all the
Right.
time. So, but I a couple of times a week I'll do my marching and some push-ups on the counter, and it's not enough. I need to do more. So kind of kick my own ass on that one.
It's interesting that you said, despite all of that, your mental health, you're still in a good place with that. I'm just thinking, like, if I were to be in that situation and say, I'm not as able as a body as I am now, how would I be taking it? Like, just the fact of depression or the frustration and that kind of thing. Do you battle with that often, or you're doing pretty good?
Yeah. I mean, for the most part, I do good, but I mean, I still have bad days, and
Right. Yeah.
sometimes it'll be a bad week or whatever. But I know that it's not going to last. Like, it's just this temporary mindset, and I try to keep a positive mental attitude as much as I can.
And how about doing the music? Is that a sense of that puts you in a good place?
Yeah, that helps me a lot, actually. I mean, it gives me something to concentrate on and to look forward to, like releasing my music. And it's not like I don't really care if I get a ton of listens, or like, not trying to get famous. I'm just trying to write some good songs and express myself,
Create, huh?
express myself as an artist, and create. That's what I do.
Yeah.
That's what I was built for. Happy hour, buy one get two. Who will drown their sorrows with you and ride that downward spiral straight to hell? No man is an island. I tried my hardest, can't you tell? I'll ride that downward spiral straight to hell.
Yeah, that's right. Talk a little bit about that, or share. We talked a bit offline before we started recording about everything that you're involved with and things that you're doing, all the instruments that you play. Like,
Sure.
you might share some of that with us.
Sure. So like, I kind of give a little history. Like 20 some years ago, I was playing in a band with my friends, and we recorded an album. And like, I had the bug early on. I played in bands for up until 2012 or 13 or so, about the same time I got off the prescription pills. And then, once I quit playing live, I'm just like, what do I do with my musical self now? So I just was kind of tossing around ideas all the time and recording stuff at home. And after I had recovered from cancer, we're like, well, we had an opportunity to rent a place in town, and I put a recording studio in the basement. My wife had a yoga studio upstairs. So I was working with other artists and recording my own music. And I did an album called Phoenix of Tragedy. I put that out, played all the instruments except for drums on that one. There was I programmed drums on most of the songs, but there was like 3 or 4 that I had my buddy come in and play on. So I played the guitars. Yeah.
Are they all available? Is that available on Spotify or
Yep,
YouTube?
on all the streaming services. And my artist name is Nathaniel Rolland.
Nathaniel Rollin.
Yep.
Can you spell it?
Nathaniel Rolland. And
Okay, got it. And just because I was fascinated. I was blown away. Like you're pretty much the one man band. It sounds like. Like what are all the and you're self taught to top it off
Yeah.
for the most
I
part.
had some lessons when I was younger, and I did go to music school for a little bit. I did like some recording school and then a little bit of guitar school, but other than that, um, all self taught.
That album you mentioned. Now what was the name of it again?
Phoenix of Tragedy.
There you go. And that you played most of the instruments on it. Can you kind of just list off
Yeah,
some of the instruments
on
you?
on that album, I played bass guitar, acoustic guitar, and electric guitar, and bunch of keyboards. On my new album that's coming out this summer, I have I played melodica, auto harp. What else did I play on there? Programmed all the drums on the new one,
Wow.
um, and sing, and I sing too.
Wow. Yeah, I really got to check out what you're doing. That's a feat in itself. Now, are there any of the like instruments that your baby, one that you really enjoy playing, or is it they all have their own special charm?
Guitar. I started playing guitar when I was 14 or 15. My dad was a guitar player, like a really, really good guitar player. And so like that was a lot of my inspiration, I think, behind becoming a musician
Did he
and
teach
doing
you,
my
or you
thing.
just grew up watching him and picked it up?
I grew up watching him, and then by the time he got me a guitar was right around the time that he passed away.
Oh,
So like he showed me one chord, and that was all he got to teach me before he died. So, but I picked it up after that.
he baptized you with that one chord.
Yes. Yep. Baptized in A major.
You play mainly by ear, or you do both? Read notes and ear.
I don't read. I know a little bit of like music theory, and I like you'd be like, oh, we're in A minor. Okay, I know where that is. I know my keys. I know some scales, but I can't read notes.
Huh.
So everything I learn is by ear or by like guitar tablature,
Okay.
which is just lines and numbers. So that's really easy for me.
Yeah. You also mentioned that you had a couple instrumental albums that you put together. Was it last year or this year?
I did 2 instrumental albums this year. So I think I have.
And we're only in May.
Yeah, I was working pretty hard this year. Something happened like
Man.
beginning of the year where I'm just like, I am going to concentrate on my music this year, and it's kind of been a flood. I like a lot of this stuff was old ideas that I was kicking around on the instrumental albums. Anyways, I have these albums called Prairie Dogs Have Plague, and there's
Prairie Dogs Have Plague.
there's 4 volumes of it, and they're all instrumental, and they're weird, kind of quirky, playful albums of just songs that the songs didn't really develop into a song that I could sing and turn into like a full song. It's just these like mini songs. So some of them are a minute long, some of them are 3 or 4 minutes long, but they just worked really well as instrumentals. And we're in South Dakota in the Badlands, and there's this sign that says "Prairie Dogs Have Plague" with an exclamation point. I'm like, that is the coolest name for an album. So I took a picture. of the sign, and then I think I did some Photoshop work and put a prairie dog and a goat, and that was the album cover. So, and then
that was the first one, or the second?
That was for the first one, yeah.
Okay.
And my son helps me with some of the titles on some of the songs, so they're real weird, real weird titles.
And what's the second one?
Volume 2, Prairie Dogs Have Plague, Volume 2.
Oh, okay. So it's they're volumes.
Yeah,
right,
yeah. So there's 4 different albums of instrumental stuff.
And these are all played by you.
Yeah, yep. All the Prairie Dog Have Plague albums are all the instruments are me. Everything on those, the guitars and the weird synthesizers and
Recorded, mixed, mastered, everything. That was all you.
Yes, I wear all the hats.
Wow.
Yeah, having
Talk about a
muscular
wizard.
dystrophy is difficult to get. Like I'll sit down to play, and sometimes by the time I get my guitar on, I'm tired already. Or if I have to,
Yeah.
mic something up and I'm adjusting the microphones, that wears me out really quick. So,
Man, that's inspiring for me, because what I could only imagine. Now you're giving a small taste of what it is like, just the simple things of getting your guitar ready and all that, and you're already wiped out. But you still manage to muscle up enough mustard in you to produce these records and to make this music. And me sometimes, I was talking to you a little bit before we started recording about my funny little setup. And so it only takes me a few minutes to set up, but sometimes I'm like, oh God, I wish I could just have it, a station where it's already set up and I could just get right to it and not have to put everything together. What am I complaining about?
yeah. That's actually what I've started to do is leave my microphones on my guitar amps and leave my vocal mic set up ready to go so that when I'm inspired or when I'm ready to go, it's just there and all I have to do is turn my stuff on and grab my guitar.
So what I'm hearing right now is like the things that you are dealing with and you still produce and make music. There's really no excuses if you want to do something. And I guess for you, it's a passion and something that you love. So that pain or that struggle or that hurt, all that discomfort is worth getting past, so you can go ahead and, like you said, express yourself and create the best way you know how through music.
Yeah, I definitely it blocks me. I mean, there's a lot of nights where I'm just like, I'm really motivated. I really want to go sit at my desk and work in my studio and work on that song, but I'm tired. I fell down earlier or whatever it was. I did this or that. I'm tired from just whatever it is. I'm not going to do it tonight. And like last year, maybe it was the year before, I don't know, there was a period of a good 7 months where I didn't even pick up my guitar.
Wow.
And it like, I don't know, I think I maybe got a little depressed about it for a little bit there, but then I just
shook it off,
kicked my own butt and picked it up, and my arms felt so sludgy getting back into it. But the more I play, the easier that gets. So,
and I guess that's also that, like how you said, exercise can help out. I mean, that in a way, right? That's the way that you're having to move your shoulders or your hands or your fingers. I mean, in a sense, that's exercise.
It's definitely movement.
Right.
So like any kind of movement helps. If you're in a similar situation where you've got an ailment of some kind and it's slowing you down, the best thing you can probably do for yourself is get up and move a little bit. Or even if you can't get up, just move something, do something, exercise your mind if you can't exercise your body too.
What was the fire in you this year to get you to work the way you have? It just, you caught that bug and you just couldn't stop?
Yeah, I don't know what it was. I mean, I'm getting older. I'm going to be 46 this year, and it's not that old, but time is not. We're not here a long time.
Yeah. How does it go? I'm not a spring chicken anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And I had a lot of ideas recorded over the last 15 years that I kind of wanted to flush out and work on them. So Prairie Dogs 3 came out in February or March. And then Prairie Dogs Have Plague 4 came out in the beginning of May. So I was kind of working on them both a little bit simultaneously, but yeah, kind of went quickly. And then there's the third album that I'm working on, which is all full real songs with me singing and, with actual hooks that you can sing along with. And
you write your music too, then, I would assume.
Yes. Yep. It's all original.
That's what I can respect. Yeah. So, again, now you were talking about the albums. So, you have all of this available, you said, on pretty much all the major platforms, the YouTube,
Yep,
Spotify's.
everything's out there, or there's more information on my website, nadermusic.com. And you can buy the albums there or read my bio, or um, I think it's about all you can do there.
Yeah.
Oh, there are some videos probably out there
Oh,
too.
cool.
So
And it sounds like you had like in your life in general, you have a good woman by your side that has helped you get through those
amazing
tough
woman.
times.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, we've been married 23 years. So yeah, she stuck by me through thick and thin, sicker and sicker.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, yeah, I had the whole cancer thing in 2016, but yeah, she's great.
That's your
So
rock right there.
yes, yep,
That's a beautiful
for
thing to
sure.
have too, especially so you don't have to fight that good fight alone. And you also have children, right? You said your son helps you. I don't know if it's just with the
Yep.
music or
Yeah, he
with
helps.
the titles.
Yeah, he helps with the song titles, and he helps around the house quite a bit too. He's 21, and then my other son is 27, and my daughter is 29.
Okay, you have three children. Okay,
Yes, yep.
yeah,
Adults, 3 adults.
and enjoying your life the best you can. Like this is man. I'm just like I told you beforehand. Every time I get to hear these stories. They're all unique in their own way, but the things that you've had to endure, these things that I myself can take for granted. Just having all my functionalities working properly and things like that, and you can really take it for granted until it's stripped from you, or you find yourself in some
Mhm.
kind of predicament to where it wasn't what it once was, but you really seem to find a better way, especially with you taking action and becoming your own personal health provider,
Yep,
and that
definitely.
seemed to really pay off.
We prescribe self care.
There you,
Lots
there
of it.
you go.
Take 2 of these and call me in the morning.
Yeah. So, so you, it's probably well, no, you know what? Whether it's accessible or not, like say mainstream, but I mean, speaking of the cannabis, I mean, you can find that everywhere. You probably could even just grow it in the house, and who knows? Maybe one day the regulations would change where you're at.
I think soon. I mean, now that we're
It's only a
surrounded by
matter of
legal,
time, right?
yeah, we're surrounded by legal states. They're not going to want to let that tax money go to Michigan or Illinois or Minnesota. So
Yeah. But
they're
that
like,
is
well, their
also
sports teams are going to get better than us because they have all that tax money. So we got to, buy the Packers a new stadium. Let's legalize marijuana,
yeah,
cannabis.
anything for the sports teams.
Yes, that's what they should. They could get behind that. I'm sure the Republicans could get behind that, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Anything for the Packers.
The cheeseheads.
Yeah, yo.
Are you a big sports fan, or you could care less about it?
No, I don't. I don't watch any sports at all. I am more concerned about when the Foo Fighters are touring or who's got a new album coming out.
Okay, music.
That's my. Yep. Oh,
How about like? Well, I know you were talking about because of your physical condition that you're not able to play live anymore. Do you play here and there, or you're not playing live at all?
I was doing the national anthem every year at like a 5K 10K running race, but I didn't
Oh,
do that
cool.
this year because just couldn't do it. Like winter beat me up this year. So and then last
Yeah.
year I did do a gig with a band that I recorded and produced and I played bass on their album. So then I went and played bass for them live on their CD release show, which that took me a lot of work to build up to that, to play that show with them. And I love it. I miss it. The one thing that really I think still kind of irks me, and I would probably try to put a band together or something if all the stages were accessible. But you go to these venues
Mm,
and there's either no stairs or stairs without a railing, or yeah, just that you have to just climb up on the stage, just climb up there.
yeah.
And
Wow.
so
Yeah,
that was
that
another big reason behind me, you know, stopping my live thing is there's just not accessible stages.
would you play standing up or are you sitting down?
I these days I would play standing up still. So
Okay.
it's probably just easier to get around and do what I need to do because getting up from a seated position is not easy.
Now
So
I'm just forgive me for my ignorance. Now you said it's pretty much all of your muscles. Is that in your neck included? Like
mhm. Yes, yep, all the
so
muscles.
even holding your head straight or
Yeah, yeah. After a while, like my neck gets tired by the end of the day. My neck muscles are ready for a break.
wow, that
Just sitting at my desk right now. We've been talking for about an hour, and my core is quite tired from holding me up. Actually, so
wow. My God. And still managing to do what you do and create all of this
now you
new
want to hear something
yeah, go ahead, shoot.
like crazy about like winter and like Wisconsin is like
Negative
shivering.
40, right?
You, oh God, yeah. That's. I mean, I don't know what the worst of it this year was, but we've gotten down to negative 50, 60, 70. I think with the wind
That
chills,
is
it gets nuts. But
ridiculous.
shivering and being cold, like I can feel the muscles. Like those muscles will hurt so bad after, like if I've been cold for a while. So to keep the heat cranked up and stay under blankets
Wow.
all winter long.
Damn. So winter, I know some places are more severe than others. In Wisconsin, is that's ridiculous. That's not even bearable. But so pretty much,
No,
it puts you on your butt, huh?
yeah, literally. It's so icy out too.
God.
Like I think that's probably the worst thing about winter is going outside when it's snowy and icy, and I get this like immense fear of like falling in that shit. I don't know if I could say that on your
Hmm.
sorry.
Yeah.
Um,
No, go ahead. Drop
so
it.
yeah, like I go outside and it's just everything's covered in this glare ice and he's like I just it grosses me out and freaks me out
Yeah.
and like yeah the fear that I feel from that seeing that ice and walking on it is immense. But I have these things I put on my shoes called yak tracks. They like just kind of slip over and they're kind of like this like a spring
Cleats.
thing, kind of like not so much like a cleat, but like a kind of like yeah metal traction or like I like chains. If you put chains on
Okay.
a truck or something like over
Yeah.
the wheels, like that's kind of what it is on your shoes, and that helps me from falling. But it's still scary.
Yeah, yeah. I could imagine. That's like facing the beast every time you step outside.
Yeah. You it's funny. Like
Man.
there's this thing that happens to me too, where if I'm trying to get off of a step, like I'll step and then like I don't want to do it and I get inside my own head and it makes it like way harder to get off the step. And my wife and I call that little horsing because we saw there's this video of this like little horse, like a little pony trying to get out of a trailer and it's like a 4 or 5 inch drop and he can do it. He could do it. He just got to go. Little horse, just, he just has to do it, but he doesn't want to do it. He's just too scared. But then when he does it, it's like, oh yeah, that was really super easy.
It was
So
yeah, it wasn't all that bad. It's like you gotta,
yeah,
but it's just that whole the build up to it, right?
yeah, you don't want to get inside your head in those moments.
Man,
So
yeah, you can really talk yourself out of a lot of things. I
oh
mean,
yeah,
just
you
from
know,
making music that's kind of like just getting out of your comfort zone. You can really talk yourself out of so
mhm.
much.
I lie to myself every night I go up the stairs. I say I'm strong, I'm healthy, and I'm full of energy. And like it'll help. Like I think if I tell myself that another 10,000 times, maybe I'll believe it.
Yeah.
And
Uh-huh. Fake it till you make it.
so I keep doing that when I go up the stairs, and some nights I'll get stuck at the top. But I mean, we live in a really old farmhouse, so the stairs are old and wooden, and they're each one's a different height and a different like width. So like coming up and down those stairs is a little freaky.
That's tough too because there's a lot of homes here in Germany. They're the two-story homes, and then either elderly people or people that aren't physically able to get up those stairs. Like that's a process in itself. And
Hmm.
you're saying every night you getting up the stairs when you're ready to wrap it up
Yeah.
and call it
Yeah.
a night is that's a struggle. And still fighting a good fight, Nate.
Keep on keeping on.
Yeah, there's an old saying, you can't stop a stepper.
I haven't heard that one, but can't stop a nader either. I just keep going and keep
there
going.
you go. Yeah, that's a hell of a fight, and you definitely got a strong spirit and will in you. I know, like you said, I mean, I could only imagine that every day isn't a win, but you know, we have our highs and our lows, but if you're not always on that low slope and you do manage to balance out and you just build off of that and it seems like you're doing a lot better and man it was really inspiring and encouraging to hear some of the challenges that I wouldn't have thought that you have to deal with on a daily basis, but outside of that still creating, producing, doing what you do, man, that is
Just kicking ass in general.
there you go.
Wow.
Yeah, I really appreciate you setting time aside and us hooking up and being able to hear your story. Is there anything that you'd like to leave off with? I know I took up a lot of your time already, and especially you holding up
Oh,
that,
that's been fun.
hearing how you get down with the get down.
Get up with the boogie. Yeah. Yeah, thanks for having me. It's nice to kind of get my story out, and I mean, if there's other people out there in my position, I think it's good for them to see someone who's
Yes.
out there creating and just doing the best that they can, even when you can't. Like you gotta accept those bad days and take them for what they are, but get back on the horse the next day if you can. So
That's right. And one more time, like if people want to get in touch with some of your work, you said you have a website. Can you one more time plug that in?
yes, it's Nader Music, Nater Music, music.com, nadermusic.com. That's what my dad used to call me when I was little, was Nader.
Nader.
Yep,
Okay.
Nader Bader.
Dark. Yeah, I was going to say Dark Nader.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. And then all the music's available
Yeah.
on all the streaming services and under Nathaniel Rolland. Not to be confused with Nathaniel Rowland, who's some murderer guy, but
Oh, that's
I wanted
okay. That's funny that you have a.
I wanted to change my artist name after that, but I didn't.
I wonder. Now, speaking of that, I wonder if you ever heard of the Night Stalker.
That sounds familiar. I've watched a little bit of true crime stuff.
Okay, yeah. Only reason I say that is because you said you have a name similar or that sounds just like a serial killer, and in my full name happens to be the same name of. If you look up the Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez, you can find him. He was,
So I think Richard Ramirez like that. Yeah, okay, that sounds familiar. It's like, okay.
I mean, the name is so common, but that happens, and to this day, I cannot shake it. I still get it. Some people, even here in Germany, I was surprised. I'm like, wait, in Germany, this guy was doing what he did in California, but there was people that, Richard, man, who's next? Yeah, I know all about him. Trust me. I know more about him than I should even know, and that's only because of the damn name.
One of my friends is Dean Bundy. And everyone's always asking me if he's related to Ted Bundy or Al Bundy.
Al Bundy, the shoe man.
Yes, yeah. Peg.
that was when they were still making some good TV shows. That was Married with Children.
Yeah, that's a good wholesome show right there. Maybe not wholesome, but it is a funny show. I love that show.
No, it was a classic.
Christina Aguilera, I give her all the props for kicking so much ass having MS with that last show she was on. What's the name of that?
Oh, did she?
She has...
No. You mean Christina Applegate.
Oh, yeah, not Aguilera. Applegate, yes. names are similar. Christina
Yeah.
Applegate. I give her all the props for kicking ass on. I don't remember the name of the show, but it was really, really good.
You said she had MS.
Dead something. Yes, multiple sclerosis.
She has that?
She has. Yep. And I think she is
I
not
would've
going to
never
act
known.
anymore because of that. So she's out. She's got like a cane now, and I think it's kind of. I don't want to say it's cool that she has it, but it's cool to see when celebrities, embrace it. They're like, "This is what I have." And just screw you if you don't like it, like I'm out here with my cane and doing my thing.
Instead of trying to hide it.
Yes, exactly. Not trying to hide it. And I think I kind of did that even for a while. Like having a cane is not rock and roll. Like that's what I thought.
How about these days?
And now I disagree. I totally rock the pimp cane.
Big Daddy Kane.
Yeah. Yep. Nader cane.
I didn't know that because I know she was still making. She was doing the Anchormans, and she was still doing like.
Oh yeah.
That wasn't that long ago, but I guess when it starts deteriorating or starts progressing, it like you can't stop the train.
Right. Yeah. The show she was on is called Dead to Me. And that show is really good. If you or your viewers or listeners are looking for a good show, that's one.
Okay, yeah, definitely have to check that one out. Yeah, I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed this talk, Nate. Before we wrap it up, if you can give 3, it's kind of hard to wrap it up into 3, but if you could pick 3 top albums of yours, what would they be?
Albums by me or by other?
Would say any musician, any band, any solo artist, whoever.
Mark Lanigan, Blues Funeral is right up there. Probably my number 1. And then anything by Tom Waits is good.
Oh yeah, I like Tom Waits.
Trying to pick like my favorite would maybe be Real Gone. I think is a good one. And then trying to think of a third one. Who have I been listening to lately? I'm gonna cheat here and
Christina
look at
Aguilera.
Yeah, no. Like she's great. Like I had nothing against her. Oh man, hard to choose a third one, but my friend was over the other day and he was telling me about it's one of those old zombie movies, like the Dead by Dawn. And it was like the original soundtrack from the 1977. And the band is Goblin, or the artist is Goblin. Like we'll call that one my top number 3 for today. It's like this eerie,
I'm gonna have to do some homework.
Show synthesizer kind of music. It's great. Check that one out. Zombie, ZOMBI is the album that I was.
Goblin. Okay, got it. I have some homework to do.
Yep. And then the artist is Goblin. So that's a cool weird one. Let's throw that one out there. Or anything by Mike Patton. He's good. He's the lead singer of Faith No More, Mr. Bungle. Phantomas. He actually, I think his band Phantomas inspired me to do the Prairie Dogs That Plague albums, because all of their songs were like 22 seconds long, and it was just screaming and guitars and drums and just this awesome fucking noise.
So that was the inspiration behind
it. So I think that was it was saying to me, it's okay to release really weird songs that are short and don't have a chorus or a verse. It's okay.
Whatever's in you, just let it out.
That's right.
That's what I'm talking about. Nate, thank you so much for your time. And you have a great rest of the day. And I look forward to checking out your work.
Thanks, Richard. It was a blast to be on.
Simply put, you can't stop a stepper. And even with the cane, he's still stepping on. He's still rocking on. There's no stopping the show for him. All the pain, all the discomfort, the fatigue, the agony that he has to deal with on a daily basis. Even the conversation alone, like he mentioned, his core was hurting, his neck muscles, that was challenging alone. Now imagine him working himself up to get in his studio and start recording, to start creating music. The kind of love that he must have, that desire, that passion in him that he must have, that He's willing to go through all of the discomfort. He's willing to battle through it. He's willing to push through it so he could play his instruments, so he could create, so he can produce, so he can do something that he loves, so he can make music. When I heard that, I was really blown back. I was inspired. I was thinking about that even after the conversation. And that's what these conversations do for me. It gives me a time to where I can reflect on my own life, my own actions, things that I may take for granted, things that I might overlook until I see it from a different lens. Those that have handicaps, those that have illnesses and sicknesses that they're battling with, and they're still living their life. They're still making the best out of their situation. And Nate's one of those people. It's crazy how many instruments he could play, and it's inspiring. I told him more than a few times, because it is. I'm not just saying it to blow smoke up in the air, but the attitude that he still had, that easygoing attitude. He has a good woman by his side, and that can make a huge difference for someone when you have support. And they found their alternatives through acupuncture, taking visits to the spa, the hot springs, a little bit of cannabis on the side, things that are helping him, things that are doing good for him. The music, of course, that's one thing, that's his love, like he said, that's what he's built for. But also all these other things that he's added to his life to help him continue to be able to live his life the best that he possibly can, to enjoy his life and to not just shell up and say, F it, I'm done. I've been dealt a bad hand and I don't give up. His attitude is completely different. His attitude is, I'm going to make the best of it. I'm going to rock on. Right on. I can dig it. And he's got some good music. He continues to create. He works with other artists. You can check him out on his website. He has videos. He has projects that he's working on, people that he's worked with, live shows. I think he even has live shows that he's been a part of. All of it on his website, which is natermusic.com. Nater music.com. All that information will be in the description box. So if you're into rock, if you're into blues, if you're into something funky, something groovy, be sure to check him out. And as a matter of fact, he released a new album this Friday, which was just a couple of days ago, June 30th. And the name of the album is Bad Part of Town. This man wears many hats. He produces, he mixes, he masters, he writes his own music, and I can't even, off the top of my head, spit out all of the instruments that he plays, but he spoke about it during our conversation. And it's just crazy to me. Talk about somebody who won't let anything stop him from doing what he loves, from creating. That's really, really encouraging to me. It was an honor to have him on. It was really a pleasure to listen to him, to chop it up with him, to hear him talk about the ups, the downs, of course, but that refreshing spirit that he has, that good old rock and roll spirit, I guess, that he has in him, and how he's not letting anything, no matter the condition, every day is not a win, but he's still working. He's still doing what he loves despite that. And that's really what the show is about. It's about people who they haven't threw in the towel. I mean, even if life has beat them up, if it's burned them, if it's bit them and chewed on them and spit them out, they came back, bounced back, and they used that for one hell of a comeback. Nate, without a doubt, you are a giant amongst us. I was reminded of an old quote. If anybody's ever seen the movie Blow, there was a scene where Young is, I think they're sitting at a restaurant and he's talking with his father, and his father tells him, sometimes you're flush and sometimes you're bust. And when you're up, it's never as good as it seems. And when you're down, you never think you'll be up again. But life goes on. What we choose to do with it, our life, every day makes all the difference. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being a part of this experience. It's been my honor. It's been a pleasure. So thank you again to all the listeners far and wide from all corners of the earth. all corners of the globe that have tuned in, that have listened. And again, thank you to all the guests from the beginning to now that have took time and shared a piece of their life with the rest of us. You are appreciated. I do look forward to connecting and meeting more people with interesting stories, with great takes on life, and that have had their bouts, that have had their struggles, but that have made a way. And a little update, because I am not even thinking about, but I'm going to work on my own website and eventually have that up and running to where the episodes can be found there, blog posts or information on past guests and things that they're doing and projects that they're involved in, and to have that little house set up for Giants Amongst Us. So eventually that's going to be the jam, a nice, proper house built, a website for Giants Amongst Us. I did open up the Instagram account, but for right now, I'm kind of just refocusing my energy, my efforts into something else. Trying to get back grounded, not to be so scatterbrained about everything, but to work towards, to build, and to help create a quality experience for the show, for the listeners, and for everybody that I have the opportunity with being able to speak with and to roll out the carpet so that they can speak their piece and share their story. For me, it's more important that it's quality over quantity, and it has to mean something, and it has to be genuine, so there's no funk to be faked. So basically, I'm just reshifting, refocusing the energy towards creating the best environment for this podcast, for this show, for the guests and people that I have the opportunity to speak with. So that's what I'm focused on, and that's what I strive to do. It's still a work in progress, so the human experience in all shapes, forms, dances, shapes, and wiggles. So thank you again to everybody that has tuned in. I always enjoy hearing back from you, your thoughts, your opinions, things that you've heard from past guests or topics that have been covered, and it spoke to you in a certain way. If you all find value in the show, you can rate it, you can review it, you can share it with a friend. We're going to still continue to build this thing organically. And also, if you would like to be a part of the show and share your story, or even a story of someone in your life that has impacted you in a positive way, you could always reach out to me via email. I'd be happy to connect. Until next time, and very soon, peace.
Looking for a sign to know I'm on the right road. Ain't seen no sign since Jericho.